Another week and another new episode of Boku no Hero Academia Season 2. I've already said it, and you already know how I feel. Just get so much joy when I get to watch a new episode of this series. Been waiting so long just to see new content, to see it animated. It makes me just so happy. So, the newest episode of Boku no Hero, we dive into the sports festival. And there's a lot of setup and a lot of character introductions and also a cliffhanger that makes me like, fuck! Because I want the next episode. But let's talk about the big point of this episode, and that is Todoroki. So Todoroki kind of gets the spotlight of this episode, Bakugo as well, but mainly it's Todoroki's episode, kind of introducing his character. Even though he's kind of already been introduced, it's like really focusing in on his character. It's showing more about his personality and also what he's trying to accomplish here. Right off the bat in this episode, he challenges Izuku, like, objectively, I am automatically better than you. And many might look at, Todoroki as a character like, oh man, this man's very stuck up and trying to be an asshole. But, I mean, if you really look at it like that, and what we've seen from Todoroki, he probably is objectively better than Izuku right now, because Izuku, he recently got his quirk ability. Every time he tries to use his quirk ability, he becomes like paper mache. Everything just shatters in his body. And so when you really look at this, Todoroki and the way he's demonstrated his quirk control and how he was taking out those robots in this episode and then, using his quirk to his advantage to where he would freeze everybody to the ground, it just shows you how powerful he is and how he's used to using his quirk ability. So overall, when Todoroki walked up to Izuku and was like, objectively, I'm better, in reality, he is kind of right. But at the same time, though, he kind of was a bit of an asshole when he said that to Izuku because of the way he just went about it. Regardless, though, we are getting to see a lot of characters in this arc of Boku no Hero Academia. And I just do want to point out something, and to make sure I clarify to all of you anime-onlys. There is a big problem, usually, in a lot of series to where a cast gets so big they don't get dived into. That's a problem a lot of series have to face. However, when it comes to Boku no Hero Academia, I will say this, as a fan and as a manga reader that, has to talk about the series weekly when it comes to the chapters, I will be completely blunt with you. All the side characters do get dived into. Even the ones you're seeing getting introduced in this episode of Boku no Hero Academia, they do get dived into, they do get characterization, so there is reason to care about these characters. They're not just there to be there for, this arc, and they're not going to be important in the future. A lot of these characters are getting developed constantly and focused on for an entire chapter, and so all these side characters, all the supporting cast and all that, they are important. So I just want to point that out and give an FYI to any of you anime-onlys that are unaware of this. All these characters that are being introduced are pretty important to the series and had been dived into somewhat. So with that being said, though, let's talk about all of our new faces, all of our new characters that were introduced in this episode. So as always, when it comes to like a tournament, art / festival or whatever, usually new characters are introduced. And all of these characters I introduced, some of them are kind of my personal favorites. There's a certain character with a certain hairstyle that was introduced first in this episode, purple hair. Don't want to reveal his name or anything like that, but there's a certain character that I really love. He's a really cool character, and I just cannot wait to see everybody's reaction to him when he starts getting dived into and giving characterization / development. I just can't wait to see that, because there's just so many characters in this arc that's going to get introduced. That's just going to be so fucking fun to see them animated. And here's some of their voice actors as well. I was just completely shocked with how some of the voices actually fit their characters in this episode. So, well done, Studio Bones, for choosing the proper voice actors for these characters. And also, well done, voice actors, for voicing these characters so well. So, with all that being said, let's talk about another character that was kind of getting developed and set up for the actual future of this arc. And that would be Bakugo. So Bakugo in this episode, we're starting to see some change, like a shift in his character with the start of Season 2. And if you remember Bakugo from Season 1, he was a jerk. He was an asshole. He definitely was an asshole, and some of, the actual watchers of this series, and even the early manga readers, they would actually say, like, he's very unlikable. The way he was treating Izuku, the way he would treat everybody, the way he was just straight up like a bully, many might not like Bakugo, just because of the way he was in the earlier stages of the series. But ever since everything that happened towards the end of Season 1 and all that, you notice, if you pay real close attention, he's kind of toned down a bit. He's chilled down to where he's not acting as much of an asshole as he was. He's kind of still acting like a jerk, but overall, he's not as much of a jerk as he was. It seems like he's kind of mellowed out and all that. And another thing I do want to point out, we do know he's very intelligent. He may seem like he lets rage control him or whatever, but he does have a very good head on his shoulders. So with all that being said, there is some very subtle build up for Bakugo's character, especially when he's doing his big speech in front of everyone. He says, "I'll be number one," and all that. You guys are all stepping stones, and he just walks off the stage. Izuku, does an analysis of him, and he's like, he actually didn't act like the typical Bakugo. Normal Bakugo would have been up there laughing and all that while he said everything, just acting like a smug asshole. But the way he said it, it was kind of like he was doing it to challenge himself. He was backing his own self up into a corner for he could have a better challenge, but also improve himself. Even though he kind of brought everybody into the mix, their entire class, Bakugo was a little bit different from the way he reacted to the entire crowd than he normally would have in the earlier portions of Season 1. So that is some setup right there with his character. Next thing to dive into is Izuku and what purpose he has in the sports festival. So at the beginning of the episode, now to where All Might is talking to Izuku, it's like, I want you to be noticed. I want you to come out of the shadows and be the next symbol of peace. I want them to know you are here. And that's kind of what's going on here. He wants Izuku to gain more popularity. He wants more people to notice Izuku, and that's kind of the whole point of this. The whole point of the sports festival is that, to allow these other big top, heroes, pro heroes, to notice these, new heroes coming from school. And that's the whole point of the sports festival. Why so many heroes are just popping up, sitting in the stands or whatever, watching this. So many people are watching on TV or whatever, is because it's to get your name out there, for more people can know who you are. And so that's the main gist of it. And All Might wants Izuku to get his name out there. He doesn't want him just to think, oh, because I'm mentoring you, I'm like your teacher, you have my quirk ability, doesn't mean you're at the top and anyone really cares for you, because no one really does, because no one barely knows about you. And so when you're saying to me like, oh, I already have you as a teacher, I don't really need to really worry, that's really foolish to say, because if you think like that, people that want to reach the top, even if they already have a lot of backing, they obviously will get instantly ahead of you. And that's kind of the main point of what All Might was trying to state to Izuku. Like, just because I'm your teacher, I'm helping you out, you have my quirk ability, doesn't automatically make you the number one hero, pro hero, next symbol of peace. That does not make you that, because there's many strong people out there that could possibly be the number one before you ever reach it, because of their determination. And so if you feel like you are right now because I'm just teaching you, you've already lost. So I like the lesson that All Might was teaching Izuku in this episode of Boku no Hero Academia. So well done. Okay, so that's basically it when it comes to this episode. I mean, there's a little bit of things here and there with some of the other side characters, stuff like Minato, which, oh my god, like, Minato best boy, like, okay, I know many might not like Minato, I know, because this is a character that a lot either hate or love. He's that type of character. And if you don't know who Minato is, he's Great Boy. Yeah, I call him Great Boy. He's the guy with, the balls on his head and all that, and he slings them. Minato is such a good character, but at the same time, I know many might not like him because of his personality. I will say, however, in the future, he does get some really good development and all that, and just look forward to it. He's a really cool character, but I know many might not like him because of that personality, which is understandable. So, just, if you dislike him, you dislike him, but I'm just glad to see my boy Minato once again in a new episode of Boku no Hero Academia. So you all have a wonderful day or night wherever you live. Please be safe. Chibi out.